I have a picture of her right here. I'm prepared to show you that tells you no medical treatment. As dumb as I am, I'm not near as intelligent as you. I can't speak the words you can speak. I am not you. And even I can look at this photo and I can say, whoa, something's wrong. It put tears in our eyes when we walked in there. It was that obvious.
Tatiana, I'm going to be quite honest with you right now, okay? One parent to another, right? And I'm going to try and control my emotions, all right? I've been to a child death investigator school, and I've seen photos and images of children that have been malnourished. And I'm telling you right now, this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Oh no, really?
Yes.
Oh.
These are Tatiana Fusari and Seth Welch, a couple from Solon Township, Kent County, Michigan. When Seth found his daughter Mary unresponsive in her crib on August 2nd, 2018, he dialed 911. But after 90 minutes...
How long ago did you find this child?
It's about an hour and a half. I was waiting. I called my lawyer first thing to ask, what's the next thing I could do. And they said, wait till they're here to call, the police and get that going. Basically, it got to the point where I was waiting so long, I just kind of went ahead and did it anyway. And we're almost here. So I was waiting on legal counsel.
So you found the child an hour and a half ago?
Yeah.
And called your lawyer first, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other children in the home right now?
Yeah. Because I didn't know if I was supposed to call the police or not. I had no idea what to do.
Okay. We will send someone out. We're going to investigate. When was the last time you had contact with a child?
Last night, yesterday afternoon, about 3 p.m. She goes to bed, and that was that.
Okay, so you put her to bed yesterday at 3 p.m.?
Yeah, and then this morning at 10 something, we finally went in to check on her. He's like, okay, it's been way too long, so, It sleeps this long all the time, normally, so.
So you're saying it is normal for your children to sleep from around 3 p.m. till 10 a.m.?
Usually about 9:30, yeah. So.
They sleep from 3 p.m. to... I'm just typing in a couple things here.
Sure.
What time do they usually have dinner?
Oh, well, this is my infant. They're not all... They don't all kind of run on the schedule, but she basically eats and, she's up for a half hour after that, and then she goes down for bed.
Okay. And how old are the other children?
4 and 2.
There's 2 other children?
Yep.
And they're at home right now, right?
Yep.
And you said when you found her, she was already believed to be deceased, right?
Yes.
And that's when you consulted with a lawyer?
Yep.
Do you believe she was beyond help already?
Oh, yeah. She was dead as a doorman.
The man, Seth Welch, waited for an hour or more before contacting police or seeking medical assistance. It is shocking to know that he found it more important to contact a lawyer than to care for his daughter, Mary Welch, who he described as dead as a doornail. Surely no father could be that cold and distant. However, this was just the beginning. Seth seemed nonchalant from the beginning. On top of that, the couple had legal counsel even before they reported the incident. So, the interrogators knew that they needed to apply powerful strategies because Seth and Tatiana came prepared. They decided to opt for an emotional and easy path with Tatiana so that she could open up, while leaving Seth alone in an interrogation room for about an hour to build some pressure on him. You will now see the interrogation footage of Tatiana Fusari.
Kind of go back a few years even, just to get to know you and your family a little bit. So, do you go by Tatiana, or do you have a nickname? Tatiana? Okay.
Nicknames don't really seem to work.
You couldn't just give us an easy nickname. No, I'm just kidding. How many children do you have? 3.
3.
Okay. Yep. Right. And yeah.
The detectives asked some questions about Elizabeth, her eldest daughter.
4. Is she in any kind of daycare? Does she go?
No.
Does she have preschool?
No, I homeschool. I have my degree in early childhood
Oh, you do?
education.
Okay.
So I
Good for you.
thought I'd just, since being at home at the farm, I can at least give them an initial education before
Yeah.
we do decide to send them off to some sort of grade school.
Absolutely.
She is fluent in her alphabet. Her numbers at least up to 20.
Wow.
Although she knows other numbers like 100 and 60, but not in sequence.
Okay.
She's practicing her writing.
Mhm.
She just has a little issue with the numbers. They get a little backwards, but
Okay.
she knows how to spell words like hi, cat, dog.
Oh.
She knows that Elizabeth starts with E.
She kind of do better than Jason. The high and the cat and dog part.
After getting a pretty good idea about the environment that Seth and Tatiana were raising their kids in, the detectives wanted to talk more about baby Mary. All this while, when they asked questions about their eldest daughter and the birthing method the couple preferred, the interrogators were subtly trying to build rapport, laughing and engaging with Tatiana. Now it was time to address the main thing.
Mary as well, which obviously you're going to want to talk about her, but it'll probably be difficult today.
Okay.
Was he excited about that?
Yeah.
Was he really? Good for him. Late, or you were a few minutes early, however we want to word it, right?
Sure. Depending on who you ask.
Right.
For a mother who had just lost her child, she seemed very cheerful. Tatiana seemed to have a detailed answer to every question, which begged just one question. If Mary was fed the way Tatiana claimed she was, then why did the autopsy results say that she had not eaten anything for days on end? Now, these detailed answers could be what Tatiana did for her firstborn, or she had planned every answer when Seth was discussing the course of their case with his lawyer parents. But most likely, it was Tatiana's nature, especially because, according to her, she did not have a great marriage with Seth. He would often physically, verbally, and sexually assault her. And those who experience abuse get pretty good at lying and making up convincing stories.
Oh, she was. Okay.
So in about a month, she was going to start solid food. So I would have frozen solid food of like breast milk mixed with like cream spinach and peas and ice trays, and then you can defrost that even in a Ziploc bag in the microwave.
So was at 4 months was she developing well? Was she getting to be a roly-poly? How did your kids develop? Every child's different, I know that, but
they all were very engaging and active. And yes, roly-poly is a great way to describe all of them, actually.
Okay.
The only thing they were late on was walking.
Okay. So would you say like chubby cheeks and that, or was she always thinner?
She was always petite.
Always petite.
Yeah, she was never nothing chunky about her. Just.
But nothing concerning either.
No.
So she was still fitting into the size diapers and stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
So basically, the first 4 full months, she was fresh from the source, breastfed as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And same story. If you went somewhere, she went with you.
Yes.
Seth never had to feed her.
No.
So
and
for 4 months,
anyway.
he never fed her.
No.
Okay.
No way. Not that he couldn't. I just.
No. But why? Yeah, if you're right there.
To, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was winter, cuddle time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everyone is innocent until proven guilty, but there is something so evil about the parents whose children seem to die as a result of neglect. Yet they still manage to smile, smirk, and laugh. It might not prove their guilt, but it does show their cruelty.
So at 6 months, other than a little bit underweight, you considered her to be appropriate size.
Yes, and
Okay.
developmentally as well. I mean, she was.
And she was doing real well developmentally.
Yeah, she was already putting her hands on the floor and just looking around. We have a play mat, and we give her tummy time.
Mm-hmm.
So especially on days where I have off, we'll just be playing all day, tummy time, and she'll be on her stomach, and she'll have her head up, looking around, watching the other kids play, or have table time, which is where they do their schoolwork. The cats would cuddle with her, which is adorable. She'd roll over on her back, and there's like a little balcony. It looks like a rainbow, but it's over the head of the baby, and she can.
Oh, I have no things they dingle with.
Yeah,
yeah.
She reaches her arms up, and she'll grab at them and pull them down, and then like giggle at the sounds. Like she's interactive.
Okay. So you felt that she was developing good at that point.
Yes.
And you're educated in this area, so
I am.
if there's anyone that should know, it would be you. I mean,
I
probably
believe so.
better than us two.
I'd like to think so. Paid for all that education, it should help, right?
So, because you're educated in early childhood development, is that what you said?
Yes.
At 6 months, have you done a diet change?
Fruit, mashed up fruit, vegetables mixed with breast milk. So the vegetables include whatever we were growing, which were peas, spinach. We got organic carrots from the store. That was a little fibrous, so I mixed it in with some peas. The fruits were blueberries, strawberries, apples. Raspberries. She liked the raspberries.
So when you mix it in with breast milk, explain what do you mean by that?
Oh, so I would pump some milk in a bottle, and then we have a juicer or a blender. So I would blend the vegetables. So for example, let's do spinach.
Okay.
I'd blend the spinach in there with a little water, and then I'd pour the breast milk in there, just so it was easy for her to swallow, like oatmeal.
So then she eat it with a spoon or out of a bottle?
A spoon.
Okay.
It was solid enough for either Seth or I to feed her with a spoon.
So now, at 6 months old, was she using a bottle at all anymore?
No, she didn't need to. She was still nursing.
She was still nursing?
Yes.
Okay.
It was actually chilling to see that while recalling all these specific moments, not once did she tear up or feel emotional. In fact, she kept smiling almost throughout her interrogation. Notice her body language. She was in a confrontational and confident pose. She probably believed that the interrogators were believing what she was telling them.
What's the most you ever had her weighing that you can recall?
12 pounds, 14 pounds, but it was a while ago because the cat got to it.
Okay, so she weighed 14 pounds at about what age?
6 months.
6 months. Okay. And that was during, before, or after this growth?
Before the growth spurt.
Oh, so 14 pounds before the growth spurt. So you would, as a mom, what would you guess her weight that she would have gained?
After the growth spurt?
Yeah.
Maybe another 3, 4 pounds.
So
maybe not even. Let's go with 2.
2. And again, I'm just asking you to guess things that you don't know.
Yeah.
Really here nor there, but I'm just wanting to know just the kind of ballpark as of what you think at least. So you would guess her to weigh 16 pounds at the conclusion of her growth spurt?
Yeah, she definitely felt like it.
According to Tatiana, Mary weighed around 16 or even 18 pounds when she was 6 months old. But when she died at 10 months old, her weight was mere 8 pounds, which is how much a newborn weighs. Yet neither Tatiana nor Seth noticed that there was something wrong going on.
So recently, her schedule changed again, and when you say recently, about when-ish was that?
3 days ago.
Oh, 3 days ago. Okay. So 3 days ago, what happened then?
We would
today is Thursday. So Tuesday, was it Monday? Tuesday. You remember what day that you would specifically remember it changing, or you don't have a specific recollection of it?
I don't, but I know I didn't have work. We can say Tuesday. Yeah.
Tuesday?
Tuesday sounds fine.
So tell me what you noticed.
She got up at 9 o'clock in the morning. You were so tired, weren't you?
And she went to bed when? The night before that?
7 o'clock.
Okay. So she got up at 09 after going to bed at 7.
Mm-hmm. And it just reminded me of when she was 6 months old. It seemed consistent. Then she would eat like crazy, and then she would doze off again, like she was ready for bed immediately after eating. So I just, okay, it's consistent with the other children and with her 6-month-old growth spurt. So I put her down, and she'd sleep for about 3 hours, get up again, eat, and it seemed like she wanted to go to bed, but I kept her up, and she hung out and was interactive, smiling. But then she'd start to fuss because she wanted to go back to bed. She was just very tired, and she only likes to sleep in her bed. She'll sleep in the car or the truck, but.
So 3 days ago, Did things happen enough that we could establish the routine? Was she on a 3-day routine? Like, we just established 2 different routines that she was on.
Mm-hmm.
Did she have a routine the last 3 days? Or
No, it was a bit erratic because I would try and keep her up just because I was worried that she was sleeping so much.
Mm-hmm.
But when she wanted to sleep, she wanted to sleep.
Was she eating?
Yes, very well. And the Sunday before last, we went to Golden Corral, and she just feasted. She really liked the marshmallow sweet potatoes.
Giving unnecessary details was a way to fill up the silence and to convince the other person about what one's saying. So, Tatiana definitely seems to be lying in this segment. Not only psychology, but the autopsy report of Mary also proved that.
And so, at this 9-month growth spurt, how much were you guessing her at then?
Maybe 20.
Okay. And when was the last time that you thought she was 20 pounds? Yesterday. Okay.
There is a clear difference between weighing 20 pounds and weighing 8 pounds. With eyes sunken into the skull, ribs showing through her skin, and a shriveled up body, no child that looked like that could weigh 20 pounds, and Tatiana knew this. She rarely met the lead interrogator's eye while answering this direct question.
So yesterday morning, when you got her up at 7, she had spit up?
No, this morning.
Oh, this morning.
At 9, when I got her up, when I tried to get her up.
Yeah.
I thought maybe she choked on her spit, and that's why.
What color was her spit up?
It was foamy and brown. So I thought maybe it was the oatmeal and the fruit mixed in there.
So where was the spit up at?
The side of her mouth, the side of her face.
And was that, did you think, I don't know, was it food? Was it blood?
No, it wasn't blood.
It was not blood?
No,
Did she have any kind of vomiting of blood or anything like that?
No, never.
Okay.
We would have taken to her doctor if that
yeah.
ever happened.
So you were certain it was food?
Yes, because that's what...
And it was on her side, it was on what side of her face?
Her right side.
Her right side, okay. And then that's when you noticed that she was unresponsive. Was this morning when you saw that? And what happened next?
Excuse me. Her eyes were open.
Did anything else look strange other than obviously the spit up and that her eyes were open? Or other than that, did she look as usual?
She's just cold.
Okay.
So I went in to get Seth. And it's an emergency, and he's like, and I was just so shocked, and he reminded me I knew CPR, and he told me to start. So I took her from the bed, and I put her on her changing table, and I started CPR, and I did the 2-finger touch on the chest. Just 'cause if you use your whole hand, you could break ribs, and I just didn't want to do that, for sure.
I know this is tough.
She smiled and chuckled a bit before starting to cry, probably realizing her mistake.
I started CPR, and I did the 2-finger touch on the chest. Just 'cause if you use your whole hand, you could break ribs, and I just didn't want to do that, for sure.
I know this is tough.
So I did a 2-finger touch on the chest and her back, and I wiped her mouth, and I did.
So you did this on her on the kitchen table?
No, the changing table.
On the changing table in the bedroom.
Yes.
So you said you did it on her mouth, and then you wiped her mouth.
I wiped her mouth first because it was the spit up. And now that I think about it, I think it was banana and oatmeal. You know when banana's been sitting out and it's very ripe?
Oh, yeah.
It gets that like brownish color.
Yeah.
But ripe banana's very sweet, and she eats the oatmeal better with it.
So what did you wipe her mouth with?
A baby wipe, a lavender-scented baby wipe.
Okay, and then you did what with that?
I threw it in the garbage.
Okay.
Well, not immediately, no. I just wiped her and put it to the side.
Just wiped her into it, no. Yeah.
Right next on the changing table.
And then you picked her up out of the bed?
Yes, and then I put her on the changing table, and then when I was pumping her chest, there was like bubbles, bubbles coming out of her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought maybe that's why I thought she choked. And then maybe if I kept pumping, like it would, like maybe it would come out, and then she'd like cough and wake up. So I just kept wiping the bubbles, and I was giving her air and giving her pumping with my finger, just my 2 fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should have done more.
Nope, you were doing it right.
And she was still so cold, and I think maybe 10 minutes. It's so hard to gauge time.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But the experts claimed that Mary had been dead for at least 72 hours, if not more, before Seth called 911.
When you say that you saw her moving, how did you see her move? Can you describe that?
She was laying on her back still. Her blanket wasn't kicked off, and I only wrapped it right around the knees down to her feet to keep her feet warm. And she had her polar bear, but she likes to play with her polar bear before she goes to bed, so she kicked it off to the side. She was laying on her back. Her head was turned to the left side a bit. So when I pushed the door open, she jerked her arm a little and turned her head. So I could see that her eyes were still closed. She was squinting a bit, like, what was that? And then it's okay, and that's what she does.
These kinds of animated reactions might seem truthful because they were so detailed and specific, but that was where the manipulation was exposed. These gestures were truthful in a casual setting. A grieving mother would not be able to muster up enough strength to mimic her child's last moments in such a way. And the interrogators did catch on.
Tatiana, we're all parents in this room, okay? And we all need to be honest. You remember in the car when I first talked with you, and I told you that at the end of the day, we all need to know exactly. Right? Okay? So we need to tell her story, okay? And I want you to think about this for a minute. I want you to think for a second and put yourself in our shoes. You're the police officer. You're the police detective. You get called out to that home today. You get called to my home or his home today. Okay? You, the police officer. And then you have to go into that house and you have to look at that precious little angel. Okay? Do you think she was healthy, honestly?
When you look at her size, and you can see every single bone in her body, do you think she was healthy?
We know this isn't easy, Tatiana, but we need to know what happened to her. What was going on?
But when did she start losing all that weight?
The past 2 days.
But she's lost so much weight that you can't lose that much in 2 days. I've never seen a child.
The interrogator was directly looking into her eyes with a very powerful and emotionally engaging body language. He was trying to appeal to Tatiana's motherly instincts.
That skinny. Never. And here's the thing. You're obviously a very concerned mom. But at what point did you know, what point did you think something was wrong? Because I know that you knew something, or you thought something wrong. You are an intelligent, educated woman. And at some point, you felt something was wrong.
It's not until recently. I had so much, maybe it was just delusional hope that she was getting bigger and our cheeks were getting fuller and she was just so happy and playful. And then just these past couple days.
So at what point did she can't even weigh 8 pounds right now. She doesn't weigh 8 pounds. When's the last time that you actually inspected her, that you looked at her? Tell me the truth.
Every time when I change her, and I think I just may have been just so blinded, and I just...
What were you blinded by? Because I know, listen, you are an intelligent, articulate, college-educated, early childhood development. You know when you look at someone that something's wrong. I have a picture of her right here. I'm prepared to show you. That tells you no medical treatment as dumb as I am. I'm not near as intelligent as you. I can't speak the words you can speak. I am not you. And even I can look at this photo and I can say, whoa, something's wrong. It put tears in our eyes when we walked in there. It was that obvious.
Tatiana, I'm going to be quite honest with you right now, okay? One parent to another, right? And I'm going to try and control my emotions, all right? I've been to a child death investigator school, and I've seen photos and images of children that have been malnourished. And I'm telling you right now, this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Oh no, really?
Yes.
Oh.
Now, before we reach the end of Tatiana's interrogation, let us see what Seth had to say.
I'm not a big fan of a lot of the immunization stuff, and so I kind of balked against that, and they didn't like that either. They even got to the point where they, the first time we changed doctors, they called CPS on us just for changing doctors, because the doctor we were seeing was all the way in Byron Center from Cedar Springs. So they called CPS on us because we changed doctors and didn't give them enough notice.
Didn't give who enough notice?
I'm done with medical stuff.
Seth believed in survival of the fittest. He never got any of his kids vaccinated because he believed that the weak should die and the strong must live.
Like exactly the same?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what's the odds of that?
Yeah, and she was even earlier too. That's why I just didn't. It never, bothered me too much that she was skinny because she came out.
Yeah.
From here, notice how concerning everything about this man's body language was. He was not only remorseless, but also in a calm and even fun mood, to say the least. It was now time to ask the important questions, but the interrogators were aware how sensitive that moment was, so they had to frame and ask the questions mindfully because Seth was already prepared.
So, at what point did you guys become concerned about her weight?
Okay, so it's always kind of been there. It's always been something that we've watched. However, it never seemed to cause, because it never did. But I just know you guys are watching my words, so it never caused her. Let's put it this way: she never was sickly in any way, slow, lethargic. No health indicators that said anything was wrong other than that she was skinny, which I just didn't let it get to me, because, like I said, very skinny. She started putting on weight recently. We really started pounding the solid food down in the last month or so.
So a month or two ago, you two became concerned and started putting some proteins to her, some chickens and cheeses and whatever, just trying to bulk her up a little bit. And did you believe it was starting to work?
I seemed to definitely notice that she was getting heavier. Tatiana mentioned it to me. My mom mentioned it to me, so I would say yes.
Seth was talking like he hadn't just lost his daughter. He seemed to be at peace and appeared to be talking to the officers like they were buddies. Besides that, on top of the medical negligence, the fact that Seth and Tatiana used to leave Mary sleeping for hours at a stretch was deeply distressing. Although babies do sleep longer, they need to be fed at regular intervals.
Where she had been sleeping for 15, 16 hours straight, and, Tati just went and woke her up, and she woke right up. Oh, look who's a hungry baby kind of thing, no. So today when it happened, I didn't really think anything of it differently. I just thought it was, another sleepy baby. She was, especially, my wife keeps her up all morning, so she's just exhausted sometimes by the time she goes to bed. And if she doesn't make a peep, if she doesn't make a sound, or if she's in there and everything, as far as I know, everything is fine when she's put down, I'm not inclined to wake the kid up. There was never a time where I thought there was something really wrong. I did say to Tatiana, hey, with her being the age she is, let's really try to see if, the protein, the fat and the protein, as her digestive system is developed, let's see if that kicks things into gear, and if not, let's go see a doctor. Because, she's a skinny little girl.
When did you have that conversation?
I think it might have been 2 weeks ago. Because even at that point, I was just a little,
You
how's it going to hurt?
So how much, 2 weeks ago, how much did you figure that she weighed?
I don't know.
Well, was she the same size now, smaller, bigger?
I don't know.
Okay.
We can assume that Seth was overly confident about his legal counsel and believed that he was going to go back home without any issues. He seemed to think that the officers were buying his stories.
I'm just confirming what you said. It looks weird. You know, that's all. We're not like saying that you did something horrible in those 2 hours. We're just saying that you know that's not the norm. So,
Sure.
So what did you guys do during the 2 hours?
I sat there and cried.
Yeah.
Tatiana called it her job.
Yeah.
We knew guests were coming.
Did you clean anything up?
Yeah, we cleaned up the house a little bit.
Why was that?
This is a mess. I knew we were going to have my parents over. So
Mom getting after.
It just did not sit right with anyone whenever Seth laughed during his interrogation. Everyone has a different coping mechanism, but laughing at his own daughter's death hardly seemed like coping. It directly highlighted how detached he was from her, and probably all his other kids too. In the next 10 seconds, you'll see the first moment in his entire interrogation where he looked flustered and at a loss for words.
Was that never an alarm for you? Was it never an alarm like, man, she's not where she needs to be? I can see all of her bones.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I just told you in regards to that matter. So yes, there was, which is what I told you. I also generally, I don't trust the medical system so much as other people. So when it says, oh, it needs to be this, the other, like I said, I had a doctor.
But looking at your daughter, looking back, you as a parent, as a father, didn't you have any concern for her, looking at her?
Yes, I did.
But you just didn't think it was concern that the medical field could fix?
One, I would say somewhat. Two, I was kind of more in that I have never encountered a health problem where basically if you don't do the right things and be patient, that it works itself out, especially with the kids. I get as we get older, there's other things. I was not happy about how thin she was, but I also have the belief that God didn't make us all,
The same.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of chalked it up to that. I was not happy about how skinny she was. Just like if you look in the house, you can see all the baby food. That's potatoes with chicken and cheese, and everything matches up with what I'm saying. She was always very healthy. She was never sick.
She acted that way. So.
Yeah, so it never, if she had been sickly in any way, it would have been, okay, that's it. She's sickly and skinny. But she was always just skinny.
But Seth, that's where I'm going to disagree with you. Okay? I'm a parent. I'm a father. I have 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
He's a father. You're a father.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I'm just being honest with you. Okay? Because I don't know how to be anything other than. Okay? And I'm telling you right now, I've been doing this job for a long time. Okay? And he'll tell you when I walked in that bedroom today, all right, I started crying. Okay? I looked at that little baby, and I looked at her for a millisecond,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew that she wasn't right. And I knew that she wasn't right for some time. Okay? And you're her father.
Yep. And I'll tell you, I saw her when she was dead too. She was much more gaunt when she was dead than she ever was when she was alive. I mean, I got pictures on my phone. I'm.
Right, but let me ask you this: when's the last time you saw that baby without any clothes on in a bath?
Me, I've never given her a bath.
Okay, but you changed her diaper
Mm-hmm.
maybe a day and a half ago, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not putting words in your mouth. You said that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How did you not, when you looked at her a day and a half ago changing her diaper, and realize that my daughter is skin and bones? When I looked at her belly in the house, okay, and I'm not exaggerating this.
Oh, I know.
I could see the outline of her intestines through her stomach. I could see her spine completely through her back. I could see every one of her ribs through her chest.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, like I said, I'm not happy about it either. You know, you're welcome to go through my garbage and look at the baby food containers.
Even in the face of direct confrontation, there wasn't a lot that changed in Seth's body language. He was confused for a while, but he continued to use his overconfident and cool tone with the detectives. So, the interrogators had to put more pressure on him. The conversation was getting increasingly confrontational, but Seth didn't budge.
Looking back, was it a week ago? Was it 2 weeks ago? Was it 3 weeks ago? Was it a month ago? When would you have done something different? When you know, this didn't happen overnight. She didn't get this malnourished and skinny overnight, okay? This is a lengthy process, okay? And this has been going on for some time. That's what I'm asking. At what point, you knowing what you know today, if you could go back and reset the clock to try to prevent today, how far back do you think you would go?
I don't know, because I can't tell you. You know, maybe the first mention somebody had that I respected, that she was too skinny, that she was too
How
thin.
long ago was that?
I don't know. Like I said, she's been skinny since she was born.
So, today, at what point today did you and or Tatiana think, this doesn't look good? The size of her, all of this doesn't look good.
Today?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't, we kind of like woke up and she was dead, so.
No, but I mean after that, when you were thinking that this is like, as far as it doesn't look good that we didn't get her the medical treatment or whatever. At what point today did you think that?
I don't know. I guess I haven't really worried about it too much.
His daughter was dead, but he was not worried about it too much. It was the disregard that Seth showed towards Mary that really underlined the reasons why he was so unaffected.
Let me ask you an honest answer. Do you feel responsible in any way for what happened today?
I feel like that's a bit of a trap question, but
No, or do you just
stay honest?
Or do you think it's just God's will?
Well, just because it might be God's will doesn't mean that there's not that it's not His will according to our actions, or it doesn't mean that we're not responsible in some way for what has come about. And so, I take responsibility on myself for anything that goes wrong in my life at all, even if it's totally not my fault. What could I have done?
Now coming back to Tatiana's interrogation, it might have been possible that she was genuinely surprised, but getting an education in childhood development, being a mom to 2 kids already, it was hard to believe that she did not know what was up. But it was likely that the truth and severity of the situation was finally settling in. Now, we'll play a large segment of the interrogation that was very important to the case.
You clearly need help too, though.
You're going to be dealing with this. This is baggage. This is something that... But all I want to know is what stopped you from seeking help? You knew something was wrong. What stopped you? Tell us the truth.
I mean, are you guys that financially strapped? I mean, what is it? Do you not believe in health care? Do you have religious beliefs? I mean, what is it?
We do have religious beliefs, and we were praying about it, and we have faith that.
When did you start praying about it?
I mean, when she was born, but consistently and heavily the past 4 days.
So 4 days ago, you started praying. What were your prayers?
Please help her gain weight. She's eating wise and it's sticking. she ate so much, like,
But so why
didn't it stick?
I have a strong faith as well, a very strong faith, and I think God answers prayers. I'm with you on that. I also think God puts people in places to help people, but we all have our own beliefs. But here's what I'm saying is that you guys knew enough was wrong to start heavily and consistently praying. Why didn't we seek help? You knew.
I just didn't.
No.
I didn't say anything to Seth.
Seth had to know. He doesn't ever hold her?
Yes, but he was also very faithful and trust in God and trust that it would be okay, and didn't think we needed to bring her to a doctor.
You knew.
How long did you know this?
What the condition? It doesn't happen in 3 days. It doesn't happen in 4 days.
I think I just deluded myself. I just didn't want to believe it.
So when did you delude yourself? When did you start? When did this condition start?
I think within a month it started to become, it was a bit up and down. Her cheeks would be full and bright, and then a couple days later she would look ill or hungry, and then, or not hungry, just her cheeks wouldn't be as full as they were.
Shrunken in.
Yeah, and then.
So when did you notice that she had other bones showing?
About a month.
About a month ago.
Let me ask you this. When was the last time you bathed her?
Maybe 2 weeks ago.
So about a month ago, you noticed that her bones are all showing, right? And so, is that when you started heavily praying?
No, it was the past few days, because about a month ago it would be like full, and then 2 days later it would be sunken in, but then within the day it'd be full again. But then the past few days it wouldn't fill up as quickly as it did.
But listen, here's what I'm saying, Mary. Listen, I get that, but her legs were as small as my pointer finger. So that didn't happen in 3 days.
No.
And I know that you know that, and I know that you wanted to get her help, but I'm trying to just figure out, when did this happen? I understand that maybe you started seeing some kind of symptoms a month ago, but when did she consistently lose all of this weight? When did she consistently become skin and bones?
I think it was within the month.
So
she was always just so thin, and
so within a month. So then why, when we had a month to look at her like this, why didn't we get help?
Tatiana could not be as oblivious as she was claiming to be. She hadn't fed her child for days, so there was no doubt that she knew what was happening to her.
We thought she'd get better without getting help.
How did you think she was going to get better?
By feeding her and being with her.
Was she really truly eating the way that you were telling us?
Yes.
Because if you want, he has a photo of her, and if you want to see it, I mean, I'm pretty sure that I explained this to both you and Seth when you were in my car with me. There's going to be an autopsy done, okay? And there was a person from the medical examiner's office at the house, okay?
So we're gonna know all this, what we're saying.
Yeah.
But and you're not a bad person. We get all this, and we get that there's a dynamic here that we're trying to figure out. There is a dynamic here. I'm gonna tell you, I know it. I know there's a dynamic, and I feel that you wanted to get her help. I'm trying to just figure out why you didn't. What's the dynamic? What am I missing? Because you can't tell me that this Brooklyn, New York, this New York college, city college educated, Grand Rapids Community College, early childhood person didn't know that this girl needed help, but something stopped her. I'm trying to figure out what it is. What stood between you and help?
was worried about another CPS call from the doctors, and I thought that Mary would get better and it would be okay.
But at what point did you get better?
About 2 days ago, or 3 days ago, 2 days.
So 2-3 days ago you thought she wasn't going to get better, so then why didn't we call then? What?
Recently it just became a little thought in my head that maybe we should, and then I was worried about CPS and about just losing faith. We've had issues with CPS before, and I just didn't want to lose this kid.
So you thought you were losing faith by thinking you needed to go to the doctor?
That I wasn't having faith in God to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel stupid about it now.
That's what we're trying to figure out. Do you think? And I'm not ridiculing this. I just want to know. Do you guys think that God doesn't want us to use doctors?
No.
So do you think God puts people in places to help us?
Yes, I do. I believe that for sure.
And you think doctors could be those people?
Yeah.
So, all still, I get what you're saying, but this is what I'm telling you. 2 days ago, I could have looked at this child and I could have said, this child has hours to live.
Here's when the interrogation began coming to fruition. Tatiana would say something that would be used in the trial against her.
So, but you didn't receive the help, and you knew that 2 days ago, you just said that she was probably, what'd you say, beyond help, or whatever it was 2 days ago. So, what?
Not beyond help.
At what point in this illness did you think there's a good chance she's going to die?
I didn't think at all that she was going to die.
How could you not think that?
Delusional. I don't have a reason why I couldn't think that. I was just being such a hopeful mom. I suppose I don't have a good reason for you. I'm sorry.
What was your conversations like with Seth?
You said a minute ago that you knew that he didn't want to go to a doctor.
Yeah, because we discussed it before. That we just
discussed her conditions?
Yes.
When was the first time you guys discussed that?
Maybe a month ago.
So a month ago is when. What did you notice a month ago? Because I'm certain you're the one, because you said that you know Seth didn't want to go. So obviously you're the one that brought up needing to go to the doctor. What did you notice a month ago?
That she was almost 9 months old and just wasn't filling into her clothing like she should, and we talked about it, and you just have faith and we'll keep feeding her like we do and keep nursing her and keep her active, and she'll get there. It's okay, she'll get there.
But let me ask you something. If Seth told you that God told him to sacrifice one of your children, would you do it?
No.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around. How many conversations did you have with Seth about this?
Not very many. Maybe 2 at most, just because we didn't want to worry about it. We trusted God, and
would he get angry talking about it?
No, I think he'd be very sad.
What would happen? How would he react if you took her to the doctor anyway?
I'm not sure. Something like that has never happened.
I'm just asking to speculate.
I think he would just be concerned that CPS would be called.
This would make the base for prosecution's arguments against Tatiana and Seth. The motive for neglect was made a little bit clear. They were afraid that CPS would be called on them. Now the detectives were trying to get a straight-up confession, but they knew it was not going to be easy. So they tried giving her an alternative highlighting Seth's role in the neglect.
Did he ever even make a comment about her body? You guys looked at her, and he never said anything about it?
No.
You know how he described her to us on the phone? You can listen to the 911. He described her as, nope, she's dead as a doornail.
I cry, and yeah, he cries, but he tries to be strong for everyone.
Tatiana did not want to hold on to that saving grace just yet. However, she did accuse Seth of violence and assault, and she blamed him for everything during her trial in 2021. In the next clip, the last sentence would sum up the reason for all this carelessness.
Nobody, Tatiana, for 1 second, I don't want you to think that anybody is trying to say that you didn't love your child.
No.
Okay? But I am going to be blatantly honest with you. You didn't provide the necessary care for your daughter. You didn't.
Do you think you did?
And we're just trying to figure out why.
Do you think you did right?
It's a very hard question to answer because she's dead. So no, but I tried. I fed her so
But what
much.
stopped you? Truly, what stopped you?
From what?
From getting her help a month ago. Was it embarrassment? Was it fear? Was it? What was it?
I think it was fear of CPS. I think that I just thought that I was overreacting, and it was just all in my head because I tend to overthink things when it's not necessary, and I just thought there was another one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And our other two children are just so healthy, and or am I delusional about that too? Like,
I don't know.
as far as they appear, I mean they.
What?
But here's the difference, though. You just said it right there. You just said it. As far as they appear. But we know it hasn't appeared healthy. So it's not a delusion. It's an observation that your other two children clearly appear healthy, right? And clearly didn't. That's comparing apples and oranges. So it shows that your observations were working. You weren't delusional. You know that these two appear healthy and this one didn't. So we need to go get this one fixed. Figure out what's wrong with her.
I thought we had more time for her to fill out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me ask you this: Did you plan on having each of your children?
No.
No.
Seth and Tatiana did not plan on having children, but ended up having them, and then treated them so miserably. There were some reports that said that they didn't feed the other kids for days, and that they had to eat dirt and grass. However, the authenticity of these reports might be questionable. After this, the interrogators already had what they needed. Then they stepped out of this interrogation room to have a conversation with Seth. Finally, Seth and Tatiana were allowed to have a couple of minutes together.
Seth's going to come in here and sit with you. It's going to be a couple minutes. One of my partners is going to run you guys home for me, okay? Because he's working late already.
I left my salad in the back of your car. I'm sorry.
You left your what?
My salad. It's just garbage.
That's all right. You don't need it?
No.
I'll throw it away. It's okay. So I'll you just a couple minutes, okay?
Yeah. Hi, baby.
Hi.
How you doing?
How are you?
Happy that I'm with you now.
Me too. Did you talk to your parents at all while you were waiting? What's going on?
Yeah, because we're such bad parents. Not even allowed to talk to them.
It took so long asking me all about the kids, all three of their birth, weight, height, and eating habits, and developmental skills, and early, including her pee and poop. And then I think that was a distraction, because right after that I was just like, why did it take you so long to call? I just kept berating with that and wouldn't even let me answer.
So you told me what?
To call the police after
Oh.
finding out.
I told you like 6 times. I was waiting for the lawyer to be there because we knew that this would happen.
That's what I told them we were waiting for. I did say your parents, but I said lawyers. And they were just, then what'd you do while you were waiting? I called off work. I slept, and I sat and cried.
And listen to baby. Their job is to fill cells. It's their job. So they can fill 2 cells right now. And that's
asking me if you were angry. Like, it sounded like they were trying, I don't know if this is movie mind, but like separate us.
Of course, that's what they're doing. They're trying to make you seem a lot more like a prisoner than you really are. Right now, you're here under your own compulsion in an unlocked room.
Yeah.
There's really not much they can do if we wanted to walk out right now. We're doing this as a show. And not even for them, but for probably when we have to go up in front of a judge. Is all they want. They want a charge. They want somebody. There's got to be money involved. There's got to be a financial transaction somehow. Just like you can't just bury a dead body. You gotta pay somebody. There's gotta.
That was the worst case they've ever seen. They were making me feel like shit. And they were like, we know it's not your fault. We know you're a good person. But this is the worst case we've ever seen. Like, what are you doing here, guy?
I don't know what to tell you. You know, my kid wasn't junk full of growth hormones and steroids. I'm sorry. You know, you think I'm happy about it?
These are authentic.
Yeah, they were kind of like pushing me about the whole doctor thing. I was like, you know what the #1 leading cause of death in this country is? Kind of stopped. Dude, put me on fucking trial. I'll put the whole system on trial. Put me on trial. You don't know who you're fucking with. Yeah, they tried to work the religious extremist angle with me too.
Super. Say something last time.
They're looking for somebody to say something crazy. They're looking for the crazy. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
They're looking for their way in.
Butter me up. We know you're an intelligent woman. Like,
It is actually spine-chilling to see them both talk so casually. During this conversation, one of the interrogators came in to ask for Tatiana's consent to take her phone. And this is how they decided to make fun of him.
Just here to help.
Not only that, they talked about their dead daughter Mary, too.
She looked like shit when she was dead, too. She was so gone. No, I'm not trying to get it. I'm just saying that's one of the reasons why there's such a bad picture of her, dude. She looked so bad.
all those on the phone and the dates and stuff.
And they'll just,
Yeah, right.
they believe what they saw.
They showed me a picture of her. And it didn't look real. I mean, she was dead overnight, and then she was sitting there all day dead, and then they're gonna take that?
Of course.
I mean, this room at like 80 degrees.
Of course. Cook ya. Make it nice and uncomfortable.
In August 2018, the couple faced initial charges of felony murder related to homicide. The video capturing their reaction to the charges gained significant attention online. In June 2020, Seth Welch was found guilty of first-degree murder and received a life sentence in prison with no chance of parole. Later in 2021, Tatiana testified against Seth, describing domestic violence that was common at their home. She was seen crying, but everyone had one question in mind: why now? Although breaking free from a toxic relationship is hard, no parent could watch their child die a painful death. Mary did not die because of an accident or even one moment of cruelty. She died hungry and thirsty due to a lifetime of neglect. There were many ways by which both Seth and Tatiana could have kept Mary alive, and the simplest option that they had was just to feed her. She claimed that Seth was abusive and cruel and did not allow Mary to be taken to a doctor, but Tatiana could have easily nursed Mary, kept her surroundings clean, checked on her, and just done the bare minimum of what a mother is supposed to do. But she chose not to do that. Therefore, in November 2021, Tatiana received a sentence of life without the possibility of parole for first-degree murder. She also received an additional sentence of 15 to 30 years for the charge of first-degree child abuse. It is true that Mary died, but if there is any silver lining in this, it is that she gave life to her siblings, who were taken away from the neglected home they were growing up in. But why did she have to die? Why should a young life be sacrificed for adults to realize their responsibilities? And why do these people keep on having babies if they do not want to care for them? We might never know the answers to these questions, but we know that justice was served. It is a bittersweet moment because even though Seth and Tatiana are behind bars, an innocent life is forever lost. Do you think Seth and Tatiana were equally responsible for Mary's death? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you would like us to cover any case, please drop your suggestions. Also, remember to like, comment, and subscribe so that we can keep covering such cases. Until next time, stay safe.